process that the ordinance has laid out for us. We have gone through the selection criteria and adopted the criteria that we use to rank all of the applications that we received. We ran an application for 2019. There was an announcement postcard that went out to all landowners that own 20 acres or more in the county. We received that list from the County Equalization Department with their help. And with that, we received over about 30 requests for landowner applications for people that wanted to get the information, look through it, and decide whether or not they wanted to submit an application. Of those that requested, we received 14 farmland applications, and we received 1 open space application. Now, of those 14 that were farmland, 5 of those also applied as open space applications. So they have the opportunity to choose if they want to apply as farmland or open space or both, and then they can see which one, if they rank better through open space or through farmland. So with the help of your GIS department, which was extremely helpful, David was excellent in helping and getting a lot of the information to us that we needed to score these. We have our ranking based on the approved selection criteria, so everything that we received was based on a points system, and we have a rank order. Based on that rank order, we are going to move forward, or the Berry County Conservation Easement Board is going to move forward with the Larry Carpenter Farm. And that farm was our second ranked farm. Mr. Wing was our first ranked farm, and I'll let him explain that process a little bit. But the state application round, which is the reason why we are moving to get this wrapped up quickly, they have announced that they are hosting their first application cycle since 2007. So this is a really big year for farmland preservation. It's a really big year for programs that are still operating. Back when this was going on, we probably had 30 countywide programs that were up and running and getting their process set and running application cycles. Since the state has not ran an application cycle in almost 10 years, many of those programs have become stagnant. Berry County was not one of those, and therefore is in an excellent position, I think, to submit an application to the state for funding. The state application process is such that they do a 75-25 match. So they will match up to 75% of the easement value. And we, the local unit, would have to come up with 25%. Now that 25%, this is unlike the federal program, can be a landowner donation. So landowners do give a donation or a match back to the program, which does satisfy that requirement by the state. The particular landowner that we are working with, we're submitting the application to the state program, is willing to give us 60% of that easement value. And that donation is twofold. It benefits us tremendously because it allows us to be able to increase our match to the state. But it also is a benefit to the landowner because there are some tax benefits to giving that large of a donation. So it's a win-win for both. So we're very excited to be moving forward with the Mr. Carpenter Farm, the family farm, and we will be submitting that on the 23rd of December to the state for consideration of match.
Any questions for Stacy?
Yeah, I do. It mentions there's 459 acres, but is it 70 that he's wishing to deal with?
No, I think we're going to try to do the entire farm.
Okay, now it says acres on here, and it's got Larry Carpenter farmland, and it's got 70 acres. So what does that mean on here, on the chart?
Let me pull mine up. Give me just a second. Sorry, I had to get to the right place. So Larry, the Carpenter Farm has parcels in 2 townships, and theirs was actually 469 acres. That 70 acres, which is what you're looking at, that's just that first parcel. So there were actually there's 6 parcels in his application that we're moving forward with. One for 70, one for 65, another parcel is 170, another is 30, one was 94, and one was 40.
I think
Is that what?
he's on the next page, Luana.
Okay, I guess I just noticed the one, so,
Sorry, there's 5.
okay.
It cuts off on the bottom and continues on the next page.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Yes, so that's exactly what's happened. So if you look up there, number 9, the Carpenter Farm, that top parcel is 70. That's just that first parcel. So the other ones on the other page are the other 4.
Okay, it doesn't have the name next to it, that's why I didn't notice.
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
With him donating 60% or something like that, will there be a request for matching funds out of the general fund? The county?
No, not at this point. To get the process started, the survey cost, there's 2 things that really need to happen up front. The survey cost is one of those, but that's a cost that the landowner bears. The second is the appraisal cost, which is about $2,500 to appraise the farm. And that is something that the Berry County Conservation Easement Board has funds in their program to do. A lot of times what we have done in other programs, because the survey and appraisal costs can be somewhat of a burdensome cost to landowners, we require that we pay for it, the county being upfront, but then we can take those as reimbursement back out of the proceeds of closing. So when we sit down at the closing table, the title company can reimburse the county for the appraisal costs and closing costs that they incur through that process. That's an option. Some counties do that, some counties do not. It's a matter of however you want to structure that.
Any other questions? Hearing none, the question before the committee is to recommend to the Board of Commissioners approval of the Berry County 2019 Farmland Preservation Application Property Rankings as recommended by the Berry County Conservation Easement Board, and approve the application of Larry Carpenter to submit to the state of Michigan for consideration in the Farmland Preservation Funding Cycle. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All righty. Interviews for the Animal Shelter Board. First, we have Bernice Alvarez. That's all right, I'll share.
Thank you. Thanks, Bernice.
So we look really intimidating, but we're really a bunch of nice people. Make yourself at home and just take a few minutes to tell us about yourself and why you would like to be involved in the Animal Shelter Advisory Board.
My name is Bernice Alvarez.
Could you speak into the microphone, please?
Oh, Bernice Alvarez there, right? Well, first of all, I should tell you I have 10 cats I support, 4 feral cats, 4 my own, and 2 stray cats. I just brought inside 2 feral cats, which I will keep inside until the weather warms up. It's been a warm winter, though. I get up at 3 a.m. every morning to go outside and feed my cats, because that's the time they're all together, and they know I come at that time. Then I go back at 5:30 p.m. the same day and feed them a second time in case some of them didn't make it in the a.m. Now, I've done this for 2.5 years. I've missed a couple of days because of rain and wind, but I still go if it's snowing, though. I made 4 houses for them filled with chips and blankets. I used styrofoam containers with holes cut out and rocks on top. I also elevate them off the ground. I put leaves and branches of trees to hide the white color. You want it to blend in. And then people find out where I put the houses, and they come in and throw away the containers. I climb in the dumpster where they have thrown them and start over again, and this has happened twice. I catch the cats by trapping them. They go to the animal shelter to take advantage. I go to, of the program that we have, Catch, Neuter, Release. I spend $100 a month. They are fed the best of food. Money goes for food, litter, treats, vet care. I also have a dog, 14 years old, and 4 fish who are 6 years old, and a bird that's 6 years old. I'm taking care of my friend's dog now while she is in Greece. I've done this my whole life, even in the old days, using my own money to spay and neuter these stray cats in the neighborhood. Now, my plan would be to use the juvenile offenders to do community service, to clean the cages, walks, socializing at the animal shelter as part of their sentence. Maybe the judge would agree to this. I'm a good listener, hard worker, dependable, and would be honored to be part of your board as a volunteer. Amen.
I'm going to start our questions with Commissioner Jackson. He is on the Animal Shelter Advisory Board.
Okay.
Good morning, Bernice. Nice to meet you.
Yes, David.
Appreciate that well-written statement. Are these feral and stray cats, are these on your property, or are they on a different property?
No, they're on a different property because I live in the condos, and the condos don't want the stray cats.
Okay. I was going to say, because it seemed like
Yeah.
when you were saying they were throwing away your cages or your houses, that they wouldn't be coming on your property to do that, so,
No, they're on somebody else's, well, they're out in the woods.
okay. Hopefully you're not scaring people at 2 in the morning when you're feeding the cats
Well,
out there
the
wandering
police
around.
do stop
so-
by every once
They
in a while.
stop by?
Yes,
Okay.
they do. They want to know what I'm doing.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your application. Certainly, your goodwill towards our furry friends. That's quite a resume of helpfulness there. Tell me about your experience with the animal shelter now. Have you been involved with the shelter?
No, well, just the spay, neuter, and spay and neuter and take them down there for that. But, no, I didn't want to get involved with that because I become too attached to the animals and I would want to adopt another one. I have 10 cats,
We have room for you to adopt 10 more cats. There's no shortage of them, so, but
So I really
I
didn't get too
understand your
close
point,
to
though.
them, yeah.
Okay, so currently, you're not a volunteer at the shelter.
No, I'm not.
Okay, and you're not spending time down there, but you're familiar with the shelter. You've been there before.
They know me.
They know you.
Well, I
Okay.
don't know if they know me real well, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I knew Marcia from before. They have a new girl now. I go there to get, they give food and litter to, to pick up some extra.
Okay.
It is costly doing this.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
I bet it is. When you say your plan for juvenile offenders to do community service, have you seen that work before, or have you?
No, I've never seen juvenile. I've seen the adults, but, someone would have to talk to them and also talk to the judge, which I could do if you wanted me to.
Well, listen, again, I appreciate all the good things you're doing for animals in our community, and thank you for your application.
Okay, all right.
Commissioner Geiger, do you have questions?
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you for applying, and thank you for everything that you do behind the scenes in our community.
Okay, that's it.
We're all going to take turns.
Okay.
Commissioner Smelker?
I have no questions, but thank you for what you are already doing.
Commissioner Geiger, or Gibson, sorry.
I have no questions. Thanks for applying.
Commissioner Parker?
Yeah, thanks for your love of animals.
Oh, Brad.
And when they said that you can't train cats, you've got a whole bunch of them coming at 3 a.m., so you're doing something that a lot of people can't do. So, but I appreciate your love for animals and for applying, too.
Okay.
So.
I do have a question. Have you ever been on a advisory board or a volunteer board or board of directors for anything before?
No, I haven't, but I applied at church for the board of directors for funerals. I haven't gone to a meeting yet.
Right. What time do the meetings happen?
6 PM.
Is that an issue to meet at a 6 PM meeting?
No, I'm retired. I have all the time in the world except for my cats, of course.
Okay. Thank you. We have several other interviews. You're welcome to stay if you'd like, or if you have other things going on, you can leave too. We'll make a decision later, and then next week we'll make the final appointment.
And then there's another appointment.
No,
Oh.
we talk about it today, and next week we make the final vote. So
And you notify by letter?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's it?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you. Ms. Dickinson. Seen you before.
Good morning.
You know the drill?
Yep, I'm Tammy Dickinson. Been on the Animal Shelter Advisory Board for, I'm not sure, I was trying to figure that out this morning, 6 or 7 years? However long it's been going on, I think I've been around for most of it. We've seen a lot of changes. We have a good board right now. We've done a lot of fundraising. Thank you guys for your help with the van and the stuff that we've been doing there. We did a lot of fundraising for that, and we're excited to have that addition at the shelter. Otherwise, I do what I can, I help when I'm needed, and I hope to continue to be on the board.
Thank you. David?
We appreciate your reapplication for it. I think you're right. I think it's either 6 or 7 years. You have been, Tammy is the vice chair of the Animal Shelter Advisory Board. She's been a huge benefit to the grant writing process, keeping the TNR program up and going, communicating with the Bissell Pet Foundation, 209. 270. There's a couple programs that we've worked with in there, especially as we've had to transition through a director or two over that same time frame that Tammy's been there. She's been one of the persons that have helped hold that together, so. So I appreciate her leadership on the Animal Shelter Advisory Board and a lot of the help that she has given us just with the vision, because she has a very good perspective on the past, some things that didn't work, and also some of the things going forward in the future. With your 6 or 7 years, is there anything that you see that we should take a look at moving forward that you'd like to see addressed that isn't currently being done right now?
Not that I can think of right now. We do a pretty good job of staying in touch with Ken and making sure that we're helping him out and doing the things that we need to do to keep things going forward. We have a good board right now, so things have been going well.
Fundraising's been a big part of it this
Been
year that's really helped
huge.
out, so.
Yeah.
Okay, but like I said, Tamara's been an asset to the board, so, and she's been on that board, been just stalwart on there, so I don't have any other questions for her.
Commissioner Parker?
Thank you for your dedication over the years and kind of the calm that goes through there. I have no other questions. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gibson?
Yes, thanks for all you do. And can you tell me one good thing that's happened since you've been there?
We hired Ken.
Did you pay her to say that?
Just saying my grandchildren aren't going to have a really big.
We've actually, as far as the board goes, we've finally gotten a cohesive group. We've gotten rid of the arguments and the things that used to take place in the past, and we've really all worked together and done a lot of good things as far as fundraising and just things that help out instead of hinder.
That's good, thank you.
Commissioner Smoker?
Have we got the second van yet?
No, January, I believe.
January? That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Yep.
Commissioner Geiger?
Thank you for your application. The animal shelter has seen a lot of challenges in your time on the board. A lot of people would have quit. So thank you for sticking it out. We're better because of you.
Thank you.
What are some of the challenges that you are most proud to have overcome?
Me personally, the time when we didn't have a director and being able to keep all of the funding for the grants and stuff going, it was a lot of work and a lot of challenges for me. But I learned a lot doing it, and we kept things moving. So,
To anybody that's thinking about looking for a pet, what's your elevator pitch to somebody in Berry County looking for a pet?
to always go to the shelter. Definitely. There's a lot of good animals there. They take really good care of them. They put a lot of effort into them, and they're great animals.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions for you. You must have come on the board just after I got off of it, so I appreciate that you've followed through with that and kept that work going. And I did not adopt my last 4 cats from the shelter. I took a referral from some feral cats, so they work better in my environment.
Yes.
So
Feral cats are good for farms, absolutely.
That's where they came
But-
from. That's where they moved
But
to.
sometimes the shelter does end up with a cat that would do best in a farm environment. So if you're looking for a cat, call down and see if they have any that need to be outside.
I am full up right now.
Your expertise
8 is all I
knows no
can
bounds.
handle. I would like to make a donation of a dog, though.
Well, I think we're full right now, right, Kat?
She got into my chicken coop yesterday.
Oh,
and
no.
she's not very happy to be my dog today.
All right.
So
Bad
Is he a bird dog?
he might be now. All righty. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Janice Fitzgerald. Good morning. So the drill is we're pretty informal on committee days. So
Okay.
take a few minutes to introduce yourself and tell us why you want to get involved with the Berry County Animal Shelter Board, and then we will take turns asking questions.
Okay, great. My name is Janice Fitzgerald. I'm a resident of Middleville. I've been living here for about 14 years. I started work here at Hastings Mutual as the technical support director. I have since stepped down from that position, retired. I have served on several boards. I'm currently on the Thornapple Area Enrichment Foundation. I've been on that board for 3 years. I served on the Lowell Cal TK Hockey Board for 3 years. My son's just graduated, so I'm done with that. And I also served on the TK Athletic Boosters Board for 2 years, one as fundraising and the other as secretary. 3 years ago, I got a phone call from a friend asking if I would foster a dog, a puppy. So that's when my advocacy started for fostering. So I've been fostering pets for the last 3 years. I've fostered 8 dogs and 4 kittens. When I saw the opening in the paper, I decided that that was something I wanted to add to the community with my talents that I have. Well, that's it in a nutshell.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Jackson?
Good morning, Janice. Thank you for your application, and thank you for your service to your community. It sounds like you've been involved, so
A little.
a little, we appreciate that. When you say you fostered 8 dogs
Yes.
and some cats, how long do you typically keep them for?
I've only fostered puppies and kittens, so fortunately, that's only limited to about 5 to 6 weeks.
5 to 6 weeks?
Right. So in each fostering, I've fostered 3 singletons and a litter of 4, and then a litter of 4 kittens, litter of 4 dogs, and then I did 1 adult dog, and that was for a few weeks.
So those go out for adoption at that point?
They do. We vet any applications. I work with Pet Tail Rescue out of Kentwood. And so I can provide references if you guys need that and how we work. And then I personally get to review the applications and do a in-home visit. And we make sure we call and we do vet reference checks before we adopt our pets out. We don't adopt any pets out if the family that's looking that doesn't have any, if their pets aren't spayed or neutered. And then we don't adopt all our pets have to be spayed or neutered before they're adopted out.
Okay, and you do that yourself? You interview families,
Yep.
you interview the applications, so you actually do some in-home stuff with them as well, so.
Yes.
It's a little more busy than it appeared to be on the surface, but
Yes, it is.
how long you been with Pet Tails Rescue?
3 years.
3 years, okay. And have you had any experience or interaction with our shelter here locally?
I have not. just paying for dog licenses.
Okay, okay. And so you haven't volunteered at the shelter
No,
before?
no, I
in the
haven't.
past or anything like that? Okay. And our meetings are at 6 PM. Typically, evening meetings don't sound like a problem. Seems like you keep yourself pretty involved as it is, so.
Right, that's not a problem, no.
Okay. Any insight on our shelter? Anything that you'd like to see or improved? Anything you guys have done at Pet Tales that you see bringing forward to maybe benefit Berry County pets and families?
I think the biggest thing that I would bring to the table is just past experience in fundraising in different organizations. We do a little fundraising with Pet Tales, but otherwise it would be fresh eyes walking into the animal shelter. I really don't know that much about it, just what I see in the paper.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Janice, I appreciate your application. I like your energy and some of the things you're doing in the community. Thank you.
Commissioner Parker?
Yeah, I appreciate you applying. It must be a happy place there with all those kittens and puppies sometimes.
It is, except for the cleanup, but yeah, it's a
Right.
good time, yeah.
And I also know that, being local to Thornapple Township, that the Enrichment Foundation has been a real blessing to our area there, too. So, do you feel that, have you met anybody over there? Have you met Ken at all at the?
No, but I do know Tammy. We used to work together at Hastings Mutual.
Okay, all right,
So.
okay. Good. So that is your, is that the area that you would like to be part of more than, didn't you apply for something else here too?
Commission on Aging, I believe, also.
Okay, all right.
So I was just looking to become more active in the community. Since my boys are away at college, things got a little quiet at home, so.
Okay, all right. I have no more questions. Thanks for your willingness to get involved in the community. Appreciate that.
Commissioner Geiger?
Hi, Ben Geiger. I don't think I've had a chance to meet you yet. And I don't think we've ever had a hockey mom apply for a board up here, so this is a first.
It's a new experience.
Yeah, so you've been active in the community with boosters. Do you have experience finding volunteers for different things?
I have, yeah. I was also the director of Odyssey of the Mind at Thornapple Kellogg for 3 years. So we had to do a lot of volunteer recruitment and training coaches, and we host the state competition at TK. So I always had to gear up about 20 volunteers for that.
Yeah, I did that when I was in junior high.
Did you? It's a great program.
Yeah. So I don't have any other questions. Thank you for your interest in serving. So yeah, I'm done.
Commissioner Smelker?
I have no questions. Thank you for your volunteerism.
Commissioner Gibson?
I have no questions. Thanks for applying, and thanks for all your years of volunteering.
Thank you. That's it, huh?
Yeah, I don't have anything either. I mean, I would typically ask if you had any board experience, but you beat me to the punch, so thanks.
All right.
We have a few more interviews, and then we'll make some determinations after that.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Barbara Scott?
I don't think she's here.
This morning
Okay.
at the shelter, so I know that she's on her way.
All right, well, if she gets here, we can, thanks. Jennifer Meyer. Well, thanks.
Oh, here's,
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're semi-informal. Commissioner Jackson will ask you a few questions after you take the opportunity to introduce yourself and explain why you want to be part of the board, or stay on the board, or be part of the board. There we go. I'll get it.
Madam Chair, are we also asking questions regarding the mental health board?
I believe so. So we'll ask questions first about the animal control board, and then we'll talk about mental health.
Okay.
Well, my name is Jennifer Meyer, and I too am becoming an empty nester. My son is 18, so that is giving me an opportunity to free up time, and I'd like to be more involved. I remember Hoot from Irving Township, from going to some meetings out there years ago, and so that's really about it. I am full-time. I am currently on the board of directors at the Caledonia Alano Club as the treasurer. And I have 3 dogs. I love pets. I love animals. I tried to foster, and she's part of my family, so not good at that either. But I do have a lot of skills to bring to the table as far as business experience, financial experience, business in general. So, and then for mental health, I did put on my application. I've been sober since January 25th of 2006. I worked with a lot of alcoholics in our community and drug addicts. I do continue to participate in a 12-step recovery program. I have been to counseling actually at the Berry County mental health facility here with my son and my ex-husband. And my sister was bipolar schizoaffective, so that's pretty close to home with me also. I'd like to do something where I can give something back to the community. And that's about it. And my dogs have actually been to the facility. 2 of my dogs were arrested and taken to the facility. So yes, I have actually been there and bailed them out and brought them home. So yeah.
Involved chickens.
It did not. They went to the middle school, and I think they were trying to harass children for food. So
Mine's guilty of that too. Commissioner Jackson.
Good morning, Jennifer. Thank you for your application. How is the empty nesting going?
It's slow. He's rarely home. He has a love interest and a job also, and he's 18, so I get to wash his laundry and maybe make an occasional meal, and that's about it.
So you have a little bit of time now.
I do have some time now.
Awesome, awesome. Jennifer, can you tell me your connection to the Berry County Animal Shelter? Have you had any interaction, any volunteerism, other than reclaiming your pets?
No.
Okay.
That's it, just having to go and I was really impressed with how kind everyone was there and how much they cared about the pets. And I mean, they were like, oh, they're such good dogs. And so that's an interest, obviously, for me since I have pets, so.
Absolutely. Okay. And you don't have an issue attending meetings?
No.
Okay.
No, I do work in Grand Rapids, but I am a supervisor, so I have some flexibility as far as, working hours.
Okay. You had mentioned your financial experience and background. What is scan-based trading?
Scan-based trading is similar to a consignment relationship. It's specific to me, it's in the grocery industry. And you bring, say, your milk and you deliver it and you track however much you delivered, and then I don't pay you until that item is actually scanned out to the customer. And then I pull, electronically, all the sales, and then I pay you on what was sold. And then periodically, say a month or quarterly, we'll do another inventory, and if there's any that's missing, then we split that. So it's really an inventory control, inventory reduction program.
Interesting. Is that new for Spartan-Nash or something?
No, it's not new.
Okay.
It's about 8 years, and I've been there. I've been at Spartan for 10, but I've been doing this for 6.
And what was your board experience? Have you had previous board experience on other boards in the community?
In the Caledonia Alano Club, I'm the current treasurer.
You're the current treasurer?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and there's one other thing rolling around there. We got the meetings, but I guess that's it for my questions. I appreciate that, and I'm sure we're going to do.
We'll do a second round for mental health
Awesome,
questions.
thank you. Thanks for your application, though.
Sure. Commissioner Parker?
Thanks for your application. I happen to be a neighbor of yours. I don't know if, in the blue house that sits,
Back on the high hill.
yeah.
Probably the rowdy family.
Yeah, they're really rowdy in the
Very
woods
large
back there. Yeah.
If anybody trespassing on my property, because your dogs keep them away there,
Yeah.
that's for sure. So, but, thanks for applying. You seem like you are very adequate in your board of directors meetings, and you have the experience in certainly raising dogs, I know that, and appreciate you being here today, and your candidness too, and for what you, if you had a choice, what would you prefer, the animal shelter or the
I would
substance abuse?
prefer to go where I'm most needed, where you guys would know better than I would what would be the best fit. So I just, I hate to follow this lady here after her experience with fostering and working at Pet Tails, because I actually looked at some puppies for Pet Tails when I adopted the puppy that I have now. So, yeah, I hate to follow her because of her experience, so.
Well, thank you very much for applying.
Sure, thank you.
Commissioner Geiger?
I don't have any questions for ASAB.
Commissioner Smelker?
No questions. Thank you very much for applying.
Commissioner Gibson?
I have no questions. Thanks for applying.
All right.
Good to
now
see you
we're
again.
Now we're going back to Commissioner Gibson since
Okay.
he's on the Mental Health Advisory.
I'm on the Mental Health Board. They meet the second Thursday at 8 a.m. Is that a problem?
No. No, I just would go in later.
And I know you haven't attended any of their meetings because I've been on the board over 10 years. I've never seen you there.
No, I haven't.
Well, thanks for applying.
Yeah.
Commissioner Smelker?
After hearing some of your experiences, I believe that you would be good on that board. So I have no questions, just that statement.
Commissioner Geiger?
Thank you for your application. Congratulations on your 13 years. That is an accomplishment. And we're all in this community rooting for you in your continued success. I think that the courage that you've shown just by sharing your story would go a long way on the mental health board and helping other people get into recovery. What is, let me go back. Stigma is one of the big things that keep people from seeking treatment and getting help. What would you tell somebody that may be struggling and may be looking for assistance?
Well, I think shame and guilt are a large part of early sobriety, and trying to, like for me, I can say that I lived in Middleville and I went to Caledonia to get sober because I was so worried somebody was going to see me. But I never worried about people seeing me coming out of the bar, or when I got in a fight with my husband, or any of those public drunken displays. So, and I think too, a lot of that stigma has faded. And I mean, I could share my whole story. I was a high school dropout, and I went to Kellogg Community College and got a 2-year degree. And so I've been at Spartan Nash 10 years, and I got out of the restaurant business. And there are healthy ways to improve yourself and to use your abilities. I mean, it's not easy. And people will go, oh, well, she's just a drunk. But I think you can look at me today and think that that's not necessarily all that I am. So, I mean, maybe at one time that was true, but it's certainly not true today.
Right, I would agree. Well, again, thank you for your application. I think you would do a great job on the mental health board.
Commissioner Parker?
I've already talked to her.
About the Mental Health Board?
Oh, mental health. Yeah, that's a given. I think it's right smack in the middle of what we're looking for.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yeah, with kind of following on Ben's question, with your experience, you know, with AA and with substance abuse and how would you connect people? You've been to the Mental Health Authority, I'm assuming.
Yes,
Okay.
we went to some family counseling there.
Okay.
Well, and two, when I was in early recovery, I went to individual counseling. And I think those two things work really well together because alcoholism is the symptom of the greater sickness inside. And it is a disease. So I think that too is a way you take the stigma out is by telling people it is a disease. And there are many resources available. You can look for online meetings. They post a schedule. I know Kent County has a schedule of all meetings. Not as familiar with Berry County, but I know you have the Hastings Serenity Club now. And I have spoken at the Episcopal Church at that meeting. I've been to several of those meetings. So I think you have to find, for that help, that person get what they specifically need. I do sponsor women in the program periodically, but I'm not a counselor. I'm not a professional. I can guide them to the resource, but I also can't make them get sober, no matter what I do. So you can offer all the help out there, but you know that's really all you can do is carry the message, not the alcoholic.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate your application, and I hope we can connect you with one of these boards. I like your focus and your vision and your history as far as what you can bring for helping people in the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate your candidness in coming to an open meeting and talking about your history, because a lot of people don't. And not just your history with substance abuse, but your history with your family. Sometimes we like to keep those things hidden so that nobody knows, regardless of where you live. And I think it's important to be the spokesperson for those who really can't talk about it themselves. My family has had its issues with substance abuse. My uncle is 32 years clean and sober.
Awesome.
I remember the early days when he went to a meeting almost every single night. To now he maybe goes once a month, and he has a couple of people that he sponsors, but that's also a big stressor for him. So typically after one of his individuals goes through a crisis, he's at meetings a couple times a week because that stresses him out. So dealing with the mental health diagnosis that your sister has not been easy either, and I completely appreciate your willingness to be involved in helping others achieve their help. So thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have any other questions, so we'll be making decisions soon.
Okay.
Typically, we'll take nominations and then make a referral to next week, and then it would be official next week.
Okay.
So
Your chances.
yeah. So thank you very
Thank you.
much. Let's grab Barb Scott because she's a busy lady. Sorry, we try to keep things moving here, and then we'll take a break.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So you've been before us before. Just take a few minutes to tell us why you want to stay involved in the Animal Shelter Advisory Board.
I've been a volunteer there since 2015, and pretty much on a day-to-day basis. Usually I say something about how the way a community treats stray animals says a lot about how they function as a community. And I think we're doing really well in that aspect, but we do have a lot of public relations work to do with the community and trying to make people understand how to better take care of their animals that they have, and spaying and neutering, how their animals are kept during the winter, that sort of thing. It's a constant battle to educate people.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner Jackson?
Good morning, Barbara.
Hey.
Good to see you. First of all, just for those of you who don't know, Barbara has been one of the key people at the shelter for us over the last several years. She doesn't just get involved, she becomes involved, so much so that I think Ken had told me that she had over 1,200 hours of volunteer service at the animal shelter last year. So much so that she was nominated for a very prestigious award at United Way and won that award last year for her volunteer service for the community. So, and as you know, the shelter runs on volunteers. I mean, it really does run on volunteers, and Barbara's been one of those people that are there for us. Did you work every day over the weekend, over the holiday weekend, Barbara?
Yes. But, you know, I'm retired, I've got the time, so.
Well, we appreciate that, and kind of what you said on your statement as far as we have more community involvement or more community awareness work to do. Any vision on how we take that next step to get the word out in the community as far as helping people, a little more education with their pets, a little more information? How do we connect them to our shelter?
Well, if we had 200 cat cages, I don't think people would be happy. You know, there's never enough space, or people to, you know, do the work that would require. It's hard to balance animal rescue and care with, you know, a business that's run by the county. So people don't understand that it is a business. We do have a budget, and we have restrictions and rules set by the county, and they aren't always what people want to hear. So,
We have USDA regulations that limit the number of cats that we can take in. So we have 20 or 25 cat cages now, but we could probably, I mean, if we have a vacancy, they're filled within hours almost. I mean, it goes that fast. So there's just never enough room to take in. It's one of the frustrations in the community is that
they come down, and if they see the sign on the door that we're not taking cats, they get upset.
That we can't take cats in. So we just can't take them in nonstop. So, you know.
We have a waiting list. As soon as a space becomes available, they get the call and they can bring in their cat. And usually they're ill when they come in, so it usually means a stay at the vet before they can be adopted.
But, no, I appreciate all the work you've done at the shelter like that. So you've been, like I said, an integral part of the success and what we need for volunteer hours to make that work. So thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay. Commissioner Parker?
Yeah, Barbara, thank you so much for your dedication. Sounds like you're part of the glue, too, that was keeping that together. So
sometimes it feels that way.
I have no other questions, and thank you so much for applying again.
I have no questions, Barb. Thanks for applying.
You're welcome.
In your tenure at the shelter, and maybe Tammy could help me on this too, have we seen any lessening of the cat problem with our TNR program?
Yes, I think so. It's sometimes it seems like a drop in the bucket. Yeah. But if you're not on it all the time, especially in rural areas, I mean, we have people come in and say, my neighbor has 100 stray cats, and they're feeding them all. And it just seems like, you know, if they would have started when they had 10 cats, it might be under control, but it's...
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much for applying.
Commissioner Gibson, or Geiger? Golly Moses, I can't get those two straight.
It happens a lot. Thank you for your application, and thank you for your dedication. The shelter is successful, and it's a large part because of you and the other volunteers. So what keeps you going? A lot of people get burned out.
Yeah.
What keeps you going as a volunteer?
Oh, Thanksgiving morning, we returned an old black lab to its owners, and there was a lot of crying and...
Just little moments that make it worth it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for making those moments happen. I don't have any more
The
questions.
good outweighs the bad.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's take a 5-minute break.
Thank
Just a